everybody, and welcome back to Pit Stain Hobbies, the dumbest scale modeling channel on all of YouTube. I'm your host, Ian, and we're back on the Hachette U96 U-Boat. This thing is very cool. A lot of detailed little bits, lots of stuff to do, lots of options to custom paint things if you want. So I've got two packs of parts here. I've got 65 through 72. This is going to be the majority of the engine room and the big diesel engine that powers these things when it's air breathing. So if we crack open 65, now while you're listening to me rant, if you want to just not pay attention, click the links below. I'll have a link to Hachette and also Todd, my friend's website, myU96build.com, where he goes over repainting the engine to look more like an exemplar he's found online, which I think looks very nice. So if you can see here, the engine parts are mostly white and some gray, and there's a few different German U-boats. There's only a couple of Type 7Cs left in the world. There's one at the Chicago Museum of Science and Industry, and there's another one out in Germany. And, based on photos from Google, the engine was painted from what Todd found, it was a light green. He used a Vallejo Model Air 71009 duck egg green acrylic paint. I have got Mr. Color C26 duck egg green. This is a lacquer paint. I've thinned it with some unicorn tears or Mr. Color leveling thinner, and it is a nice light green color. Alternatively, if you can't get that Vallejo or you don't want to deal with lacquer because it's stinky with bad fumes, I have an extraction system in my spray booth, so I'm pretty safe. You could also go with a Tamiya XF21 Sky. It's a very similar color, and it is acrylic paint, and it thins with X20A, or basically isopropyl alcohol. But yeah, so you could use either of these. I'm going to go ahead and use the Mr. Color because I do have a nice spray booth with good air extraction. I do have an air quality meter down here. I do have a respirator down here. I do like lacquer paints. They dry very quick and they go on very nice out of an airbrush. If you don't want to paint them, you don't have to. You could just, you could either do nothing, or you can dirty them up with some like Vallejo game washes, like black and umber wash, to make it look kind of dirty and greasy and stuff if you want. But basically, we're going to take out a ton of a lot of these white parts, and we're going to pre-paint a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to, pre-paint some extra black on some of these bulkheads. And, the floor, we're going to do our gunmetal like we have been doing. Lots of things like that. We got a lot of stuff that we're going to pre-paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint all these parts on little clippy sticks. When I say clippy sticks, I mean a system like this. One of these little bases with little sticks with little alligator clips on them. And we're going to pre-paint a bunch of these parts. Grab them right here. I'll just show you how I would grab it. I'll grab it right here, and we're going to go through some stages of that, of pre-painting a bunch of these things in this duck egg green from Mr. I didn't tighten this cap all the way, and I spilled a little paint. That's okay. That's okay. That's why we have paper towels and lacquer thinner to get it off of our fingers. It's stinky. Lacquer paint is very smelly. It's very good. It's very smelly. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to get all the little white parts pre-painted in this green first, and then we'll go through the next parts we're going to paint, the next parts we're going to paint, the next parts we're going to paint in assembly stages. But we're doing basically two full packs of parts here, and at the end we will have a painted and built, mostly, engine bay. All right, I'll be back. Okay, everybody. Oh, well, let's get Mr. Miller Lite out of there. So we've painted our engine parts in this light green color, and it's kind of hard to see on camera with the bright LED shop lights in place. But what we're going to do now is, because we've painted our crankcase yellow on one side, it's gray on the other, and we've got a couple other parts here that we need to do gray. My buddy Todd used Vallejo 71055 Model Air black gray acrylic paint. I'm going to use Tamiya XF63 German gray because, well, this is German and this is gray, and it says German gray, so what the hell. But this stuff was an absolute joy to spray. I was very happy with it. It was very stinky. My air quality meter is, it's not angry. It's mildly upset with the air quality in here, but not bad because I have a lot of exhaust fans going in here to suck air out of the basement and out of the crawl space vents. So we're going to load up our Tamiya airbrush with some Tamiya XF63, and we are going to paint this engine block, the crankcase. So we've masked off the top of it, obviously. And let me get some paint sprayed on there, and I will be back in just a minute. Well, just a sec. Okay, so our engine block, come on, focus. Engine block is painted, crankcase. We can snap her back together if we want. So we're gonna see that like that. Isn't that cool? I've got more stuff to paint, like this little tube that we painted. We're gonna peel this apart. We taped off part of that tube so that not all of it was painted that light green color. And I've got to do some more custom painting on these parts before I start assembling. So I'm just going to continue on with that. I need another garbage bag. I'm going to continue on with the custom painting. I'll go over it quickly for what I'm painting on where. And this is going to be fun. It'll be a long video, by the way. So get a snack, get a drink, buckle up in your comfortable seat. Be right back. Okay, I promised you a long video, and this will be a long video. We have painted a lot of things. We have many things painted here. We have our cradle from stage 65 here. That was painted German gray as well. We've painted our floor plate with our Tamiya gunmetal. We've got these things painted with the black at the bottom. We've got all these little rocker arms and push rods painted. Just follow the instructions on the website in the doobly-doo, the description below, to my buddy Todd's website. What we got to start doing is mounting this sucker on here. So what they want you to do is take this and put these 3 posts into here. But we don't want to build the whole engine with it in the cradle. So what we're going to do is we're going to nip off these posts at the bottom here, these 3 little posts. We're going to nip these down. And I don't know how much better I can nip these. They've been pretty well nipped. Let's consider those fully nipped. But we could also, if you really want to go crazy, you can take your hobby blade and just smooth those out, because we're going to want to kind of slide this engine in after we get it all built up. So we're gonna take our hobby knife. Please, no blood, just pray to the model gods for no blood tonight. Thank you. Okay, no blood. Thumbs up, everybody. And none of them are bleeding. Yay. Yay. We don't like doing that. We don't like bleeding. I mean, I will bleed for my viewers when needed, but I'd rather not if I can help it. So we've nipped off those nubs. And now we got to start assembling the engine. So we've got these two round parts here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take a little Tamiya extra thin cement here and just put a little on this little post. We just want to kind of cinch it together. It's going to hold itself together pretty well on its own. Get a little bit of cement on there. We're going to get this little fella shoved into there like that. Apparently I have to hold this down for a while. So what I will do is take a little DeWalt clamp here, one of these little micro mini clamps, and I'm just gonna, oh, for fudge's sake, you son of a, there we go. And we're just gonna have this clamp down for a couple minutes till that glue sets, and I'll be right back. Okay, well, we got this little round thing finished up at the front here. I mean, clearly something with the crankshaft. And we got to put the other bottom of the crankcase on there. But I am going to put a little Tamiya extra thin on these two posts right here. And then we're going to push this down onto there. Just like that. Very nice. Very nice. Right? I think so. I'm not doing this prematurely. Yes. And then we're going to put a little more extra thin on these posts. There we go. And we're going to take some of the head assembly, or the valve train, the upper part of the engine. I'm not a diesel mechanic, guys. I wish I knew. But we're going to squeeze that onto there. You see the green and right, the green instead of the white looks pretty spiffy, I gotta say. So my buddy Todd was looking at reference photos of U995, which is on display in Germany, and that's where he came up with his color scheme. So I trust my friend Todd. He's very fastidious in his research. A fun fact that Todd may not even know. Todd, tell me if you know this one in the comments or on Discord. When they filmed, what was it? Was it Raiders of the Lost Ark with the German U-Boat, Indiana Jones? That German U-Boat was borrowed from the production of Das Boot and repainted, including the subpen. That same subpen, that World War II German subpen, that was from Das Boot. The U-Boat was from Das Boot. They just painted different numbers on it and used it for Indiana Jones. And it saved them a ton of money. Yeah, George Lucas is like, wait, somebody already made a replica prop of a German U-Boat and they have a subpen? All right. So they rented it. Cool fact, right? Had no idea. It just randomly popped into my YouTube feed today. I didn't know that before this moment. I'm sharing it with you. Very interesting. Very fun fact. So this boat, actually, if you wanted, they're like very basement neck dweller sounding. If you wanted to, and you're building this, and you have the wherewithal, you could paint it up on the outside to look like the one from Indiana Jones, and it would still be movie accurate-ish. Wouldn't that be cool? So yeah, fun little thing there. I have one Discord friend who I know may start like obsessing over Indiana Jones U-Boat and go, I'm gonna redo the whole outside of my U-Boat to look like Indiana Jones. Maybe, might be a fun idea. So now we got to start sticking a few of these little odds and ends on here. So I've got this weird little thing here. Is it this one? No, it's not this one. There's a lot of these little bits here. This one needs to go right here. So I'm going to put some thin cement. I'm going to glue that on there. And after that, we're going to stuff these two things together. These two little halves. The camera does not like focusing on this bright light green. Stick those together. And we're going to shove them into here, into this part. Nothing really is a press fit. We got to glue everything in, and then we're going to glue that onto the front of the engine block here. So yeah, let me get that glued up, all those bits glued on, and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so all of these are on here. Now we've got to put this little circly bit in here, right there, that little guy. Then we got to put this little fella right there, and this little fella right up here in this slot here. Just follow the instructions in Todd's website, and you need some glue. You could use crazy glue if you want. I'm using plastic cement. I just prefer it. No haze, and I don't glue myself to the part as easily. It can ruin the paint work if you're doing custom paint though. So just be careful. Be right back. All right, I'm trying to abbreviate this for the sake of brevity. But yeah, all our parts previously are glued on. Now we have to assemble these three parts together. Okay, so we're going to, let's see here. We're going to take this box and put it into this slot. And I'm wearing my magnifying lenses. I got to put a thing in somewhere and put a thing in somewhere. And we're going to put this thing into here. Like that. And that's a nice, oh, that's a nice tight fit. Toit like a tiger. We've done a little detail painting on there. Let me get those glued together and I'll be back in a sec. I'm going to be retired by the time I finish building this diesel engine. I forgot to hit record. I put on this little red wheel and this little handle. I just glued them in. But what we got to do now is take this little subassembly. Come on, focus. Jesus, camera's really having a fit with this model. I'm going to put a little glue in that slot right there. I am absolutely loving building this engine, but at the same time, holy hell, Batman. This thing is very detailed. So we're going to stick that right down on there. There's a little tab it fits onto. And I want to make sure it stays flat. Looks like I might need to do a little touch-up paint there. If this is the side that's showing out of the hull, then I'm going to need to paint it. But I feel like this is going to be the side that shows. I could be wrong. Houston? Yeah. I might be wrong. Or I could be right. I'm not 100% sure. We'll see. We'll see. I might have to cut these nubs off as well at the bottom here. These little guys. Really, this is like the poorest focusing video I've ever done since building wire mesh wheels for an Aston Martin. But yes, I feel your pain, brothers and sisters, fellow model builders. There's a bit of trobs and tribulations with building this with all the tiny little parts. So we're going to cut this giant red wheel off this part sprue. And if we want to touch it up, I have some cheapo Chinesium paint brushes, paint markers, but we could also use the AK Real Colors, and this is a RAL red. So we're just going to just touch that up a little bit. There we go. Because where you snip it off the sprue, there's going to be a little white plastic underneath. So that will touch up that white plastic. We could point that down, thankfully. And we're gonna do a little bit of this magic melty stuff, which do not spill this bottle on your work mat or you will end up really regretting it. And we're gonna shove it right into this part of the engine block. These are really cool looking. I really love these little valve wheels. These are just awesome. They're nice little details on this model. Really enjoying it. I think I'm going to actually canter it off a little bit. I'm going to do it at 45 like the X-Men logo. There we go. Because why not bring a little Marvel into your World War II U-Boat? I don't know. The hell. Now we've got the cylinder head, or Todd calls it a cylinder cover. We got to bring the fuel oil line into this thing. This should be interesting. Oh, this is it. Ow! Oh, God. Right on the floor. Hold on. I've got a really tall work stool here because my workbench is fairly high. So I end up having my stool squeeze out from under me. So what we're going to do here, let's see. We got this and we got this. Okay, so we want this way with these slots facing this way. And then we are going to shove this fuel oil line for like bunker oil, whatever the diesel sludge these things run on. I'm going to shove it into those little holes in there and shove her down. Okay, fair enough. I think that's okay. I'm going to use some Tamiya on here. I want to be a little more delicate. It has a smaller brush tip. I just want to dab a little bit of glue onto these just to get that glued onto there nicely. Oh, what else? Oh, okay. Now we've got to start shoving all of these little guys in. We need the indicator taps. Indicator taps. Oh, geez, Todd. I'm sure he's right. I don't really question him anymore. It's fine. But these all need to go into these 6 little holes above the big slots with the little black knob pointing up. So let me get those in and I'll be back in a sec. I'm going to be using these a lot. So our cylinder head, we got our little spigots or whatever they are in there. And now we've got these ovally blocks. And what we're going to do is put some liquid cement on there and there. And we're going to very, very carefully place this on top of the engine block. That's the crankcase. So that's the still, I think, crankcase, and that's the cylinder head up top. I mean, I'm not a diesel mechanic, but I'm pretty sure that's what that is. And then we got to get this little pipe into this little hole. There we go. And that will kind of force its way in there automatically. There we go. So you want that in that little hole there. Super duper fun. We could clamp this, but I don't think it really needs it. It should be fine. So we just gotta kind of let it sit and cure. Again, I'm using a lot of this stuff, plastic weld, and to me extra thin cement to glue these together, as opposed to crazy ex-girlfriend glue, to CA glue, because I just kind of prefer it for plastic to plastic. Even if there's paint involved, it'll melt right through the paint and give you a really, really, really solid bond. And there's no worries about fogging anything. But here's what we've got so far. That's looking pretty good. What else do we have to do? We did that. We got to do these little guys right here. Got to cut these off the sprue. And don't cut off the tab at the bottom. You want to cut off right where it tapers in there. So right there, you want to cut that. And we're going to put those on the back side of the engine block. So let me just cut one off and show you how it goes. Then I'll do 6 more. And Bob's your uncle. So we're going to do this. And we're going to shove one of these in here. Oh, these definitely need glue. So 6 of those in all those slots. So I'm going to glue those down and watch more Border Patrol videos. And I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so all of those are glued down. Now we just got to glue down this front plate on here. Let's just check that out. Yeah. We're going to take this part and put it down in its little slot there on the front of the engine block. Make sure it looks straight. That looks pretty good. And there we go. So that's it with stage 66. Yeah, this is really coming out nice. So now, oh God, no. Yeah, I'm gonna have to finish this up tomorrow. We got to put all the rest of the valve train on here. So all these little guys are going on. Holy hell. What a waking nightmare of tiny parts. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Not. Oh my Lord. Okay. Well, there we go. So I think that's it for tonight. And I'll be right back. I mean, it's seconds for you. It's a day for me. But yeah, this thing's got to just sit here and like all the glue has to set up and everything. And 1 second, please. All right. Well, here we are after the evening record button failure. I've glued the exhaust manifold onto the side of the engine head. It was just squeezing the 2 halves together and then gluing them into little holes up there. So that's good. So now what we got to do is we have our rocker arms and push rods. This is a push rod engine, I believe. And then we've got our injector arms and push rods. And these should not have been painted blue. I use this AK Focus, you son of a RAL 5001 blue. So yeah, it's a push rod straight 6 or straight. Yeah, it's a straight 6. Yeah, straight 6. Yeah, it's a big engine, so it doesn't need that many cylinders. What we're going to do is we're going to nip off. First of all, speaking of nipping off, let me zoom in a little bit here. We're going to, wrong nippers, blue handle, wrong nippers. We're going to nip one of these off the sprue. All right. And we are going to put it into this slot right there. Like so. And I'm going to get all 6 of these done, and I'll be right back. Okay. Well, our fuel injector rockers are in. They're glued down. Now we've got to install our intake and exhaust valve rockers and push rods. And once again, we are going to put a little Tamiya extra thin on here and very carefully put it into this oblonged oval hole. This is not easy. We gotta kind of stuff it. Yeah, you gotta kind of stuff it underneath that pipe. So it requires a little bit of flex to stuff that in there. And we want them as vertical as possible. These are going to be fiddly, so we got to get 11 more of these in. 6 cylinders, 12 intake valves, 12 exhaust valves, and 6 fuel injection valves. Yeah, quite the complex little beastie. And like it needs, yeah, it's fiddly. But like that's the first one right there. She's done. I'm going to use a little touch-up paint. I got a little extra blue on that earlier. Sorry about the camera losing its mind on the focus. I just got to like block out my workbench. But I'm going to get the other 11 in here, and I will be back in a sec. All right, so the valve train is all in, and it's looking really cool. Very spiffy. They're a tiny bit, yeah, whatever. It's fine. Crooked. Now we got to put in the diesel fuel injectors, diesel oil injectors, whatever you want to call it, and the little pipes. So we're going to snip all of these off of here. Get that in frame. Frame me in. Oh, you're an entertainment channel. And we're just going to get these snipped off. Make sure you keep the tab at the bottom of the part. Do not snip that off. You need that to locate things. And we are going to put a little glue on here, and it's got to go down into this rectangular groove here, and then the other end of the tube has to go in that little hole right there. So let me break out some more of my plastic weld. There's a few brands of this type of stuff, and I'll put a little on the tip of that pipe. It does melt glue. It melts paint, so be careful. It might be easier if we put the top pipe in first and then kind of skink the bottom in there. Yep, that worked. And some tweezers, kind of push it in there. There we go. And we're going to push this down and in there. There. Okay. So there's the first one in. I got to get 5 more in there, and I'll be back in a minute. Alrighty. Everything is happily glued down. There's 2 tabs. There's a tab at the bottom and the tab on the side of that engine head. You got to push in right there to snap these in, and then those pretty much fall into place. So they're good. Now we've got to put on the control linkage attachment. So we're going to snip this off of here. Why am I not wearing my magnifiers? Why, Ian? Why aren't you wearing them? Because you're a moron? Yes. Yes, I am. There we go. Okay. So this is going to go on like, yeah. Gonna need our tweezers. There we go. And we're gonna push it down into its 2 slots there. And fudge! Where did that go? Oh my God. Okay, it's right here. It's fine. It's fine. I found it. I'm going to have to stuff that back between those and glue it into place. So let me get this glued down and I'll be right back. Okay, so that's glued into place. Now what we're going to do is we are going to glue this part onto the crankcase. So again, a little Tamiya extra thin. And, oh, for fudge's sake, there we go. Just like that. You got to start being careful with how you handle this. There's a lot of little easy to snap off bits, which I've already demonstrated quite handily how easy it is for me to break things off of here. And then we got to take this little part right there, and we're going to snip this off the runner with our God hands. The best nippers on planet Earth. I don't fight me. And we got to put it into that hole right there. So let me get some Tamiya thin. We'll get that into that small crevasse. There we go. Shove her in there. Perfecto. We got some more parts. Let me go get those handy, and I'll be back in a sec while these dry. Okay. Well, she's all dried up. I had some dinner. The wife made some lovely steak fajitas, and now we've got to glue more parts on here. So I got to put this little thing, which is actually 2 parts. I think I showed you earlier when I was painting it. I glued these 2 parts together. This front piece is one, and the back with the pipes is another. And we're gonna put a little dab of magic melty stuff. I should probably get a sticker made for that, or a t-shirt. Put a little dab in that hole. And then squeeze this on in here. Oh, okay. There we go. There you are. Very nice. And now what I'm going to do is cut this part off the sprue, this little bit of U-Boat crucifixion. And let me get, it's a small part. I need, these are silly. They're like 3X reading glasses. So I can see all these tiny little things. Well, the sprue's done. In the trash you go. Oh, same with this sprue. Nothing left on there. Goodbye. And that is going nowhere. So that's it for 67. Let's go to 68. And now we got to start working on a bulkhead. So we're going to start working on this Mickey Mouse head. We have here, we painted this bottom half just flat black, which is fine. That's all we need to do. And we've got some bits. And of course, Todd painted a whole bunch of little details on his. Oh, boy. Okay, well, look at it right now. All right. And I'll be back in a second. I got so excited I forgot to hit record. I really just glued on a whole bunch of these little tiny pieces off of these little sprues down here. Just follow the instructions. I did nothing special. I put a couple smudges of black paint on a couple of these parts here. That was really it. I did a little black paint there and a couple little dabs of gunmetal from our little handy dandy AK paint markers. Oh God! Oh, things are flying. I'm gonna lose something. I smell it in the air. I can smell it in the air tonight. Your fault. Yeah. You had Taco Bell for dinner tonight. From that fart. Oh, yeah. Oh, Phil Collins is probably going to sue me now. Yes. There. Well, I did have fajita / taco things tonight for dinner. I have yet to release the wolf bait. I have not floated an air biscuit yet, but I do have some mango-flavored White Claws down here with me. So who knows what the hell is going to happen? Carbonated beverage and Mexican food in my belly at the same time, commingling in a United Nations, security summit, going, should we just fart on them? Yeah, we fart on them. Fart on everybody. Okay. Yeah, it'll happen. It won't be on camera. I don't fart on camera. I burp on camera sometimes. Germans hate that, especially with this, because there's many Germans watching this. You didn't do the best things during this era, but you made some cool stuff, I got to admit. From the country that be making stuff, you be making things. Your World War II vehicles, by far, some of the most popular model kits in the world, for a very good reason. They're awesome. So yeah, there we go. So now we got a whole bunch more parts. Jeez, it's never ending. Okay, I've got more things we've got to glue on here. More of these bits. Where is that? What? Wait, what? Where? I'm looking. Oh, I found it. Nope, not that. Nope, not that. Nope, nope. Negative, Ghost Rider. The pattern is full. Where? I'm going to find some parts. I'll be right back. Okay, so I think I've made a conscious decision for this model moving forward. I am plugging Todd's website hard, myU96build.com. It is in the description. He goes over every single step in high-resolution photographic detail. I am going to kind of speed run this sucker because you know what? I almost have every single part sitting behind me to finish this entire submarine. I think one more shipment, I will have all the parts, and I'm only on the engine room. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the stage and then show you that stage built up and painted as close to Todd's website as I'm capable of. I think that's where we're going. So we're on kit 69 right now still. We've got a few more parts to glue on, and I'm going to get those put together as per his instructions and get them slapped on here and show you the final results of whatever. I'll start off the beginning of the stage and the end of the stage, and I just like doing things like this, like a piece at a time. No way. Too long of a video, especially with how much I talk. Oh dear God, I don't shut up. To anyone in the comments, it's going, oh, he talks too much. That's the point of my channel, I think. I don't know. Some people like it. Almost 5,000 of you like it. Not quite 5,000. We're still waiting for those last 20-something stragglers to hit subscribe. It's just a personal point of pride with me now. I need 5,000. Okay, I'll be right back. I even have to put on my magnifiers just to show off this work. So we've got these little parts on here. This is really getting delicate, and these 6 little things are very easy to snap off, so be very careful. But the engine's looking amazing. We've built this little fuel valve block assembly. That's quite nice. Oh, God, don't drop things. Oh, Butterfingers. We didn't really add anything else to this, but I mean, That's looking pretty cool. If you want to go crazy, dry brush things, streak and grime, all that, um, be my guest. But that's the end of kit 69. So now we got to go to 70, and yeah, we've got more bits. We've got and screws. You screw into this. Screw you. Yes. So screws. We're going to do things. We got to put some parts on. So we're gonna start putting some parts on. Very carefully. We got to get this little rail onto here. There's so many little bits. So I'm going to get all these little tiny itty bitty tubes and things and other accoutrements attached to their homes, and I'll be back in a sec. Alrighty. Well, 70's all done. We got all the little tiny little itty bitty pipes. They're actually metal. They go in really nicely. They're not that fiddly, surprisingly. But yeah, everything is on the engine, so that's good. I think we already showed this. We have the back wall or the bulkhead done, and now we did 71 real quick. We just glued all the little greeblies onto this bulkhead for 71. Nothing exciting there. 72, however, things get a little weird. Like something I've never seen before in a part work, never done before. It's interesting. So we got to put this little contraption together, and we're gonna do a little bit of black touch-up paint here and there on it for funsies. But this thing, this is the legs for a table, which is bonkers. We need almost is this photo etch? Oh, this is photo etch. Oh, this is painted photo etch. Interesting. So we're going to need to do some very specific bends in this part, and I don't have a really good photo etch bending tool. I guess I know what I'm buying on the live stream tonight. Even though once I buy it, I'll never have to deal with a lot of photo etch ever again. No, we build models. They'll be photo etch. Very specific. So we got to bend these up at a 90-degree angle, these two half circle sections, and then we got to bend the legs up at 90-degree angles and put a piece of plastic. This little rod here goes in the middle of it. Let me bend the legs over. Oh, lordy. Oh, dear. Fiddly. Oh, wife's here. 1 second. Alrighty. So I'm going to give you a little photo etch bending tip for people that don't have photo etch bending tools. I wouldn't go out and buy a whole tool just for one model. I have these Tecton flat, smooth-jawed, no texture on them, pliers, and there's a little indentation. That's the inside of the bend. So you want to get the tip of the plier pretty close to that and push it down. And because they also have a flat nose on them, so it makes a really nice 90-degree bend. Come on, focus. It makes a really good 90-degree bend in those parts. And let me scroll here. So those get bent up, and then these legs right here also. Oh my God, I think it might be easier to grab the entire outside of this and bend this up. Yeah, it is. There we go. Oh. Whew. yeah, having a good set of very flat-jawed, square-nosed pliers, yeah, they're your friend in this scenario. And what else do we got to do now? So now we got to take this plastic mamma jamma right here, focus, and put this in this cradle right here. So I'll be right back. All right, everybody, that's the end of 72. This desk was very, very fiddly, but no problem. You know, use your pliers, take your time. Look at my U96build.com. Sorry, I'm pointing at my monitor over there. I'm an idiot. A really fun model. Lots of opportunities to really go into the weeds and custom paint things and look up historical reference photos of other Type 7C U-boats and just have a blast with it. It's really, really, really got a lot of detail in this model. So much stuff. You know, it might not be for the faint of heart, but oh hell, it's worth it. So, thanks for stopping by again. We'll see you next time on Pit Staying Hobbies. I'm Ian, and I'm signing off. Adios, everybody.